A pastor in Buena Vista is arrested, but his congregation is still behind him. We'll have the latest on the investigation.
One local businessman could bring new jobs to the county on the site of an old textile facility by the water.
And as relief efforts in the Philippines ramp up, we'll tell you what local businesses are doing to help.
This afternoon on the Rockbridge Report.
Welcome to this afternoon's edition of the Rockbridge Report. I'm Laura Lindsay Tatum.
And I'm Sarah Jean Vallon. Today's top story, Virginia's Attorney General race is still undecided and likely headed to a recount. A tight race for Virginia's Attorney General got even more complicated today as both candidates announced they were forming transition teams. The Virginia Board of Elections updated its results today, showing Democrat Mark Herring in the lead with about 160 more votes, but Republican Mark Obenshain said he's not giving up until the results are finalized later this month.
Revised law requires the ballots to be run again, and it is our expectation that we're going to go through and respect the process that is established by law. And we are going to wait and see what the State Board of Elections comes up with its tally of the votes on November the 25th.
Obenshain originally had a very narrow lead on election night. It's fluctuated since then as officials found some votes were not counted properly. Democrats won the governor and lieutenant governor seats in Virginia. If the Democrat Herring does win, it will be the first time Democrats have swept all three statewide offices since 1989.
Trouble in Buena Vista this week as two high-profile residents have been put on leaves of absence from their jobs. Buena Vista Fire Chief Butch Lawhorn is on administrative leave, and state police investigators have passed a report on his conduct to the Commonwealth's Attorney's Office. A court document shows investigators are questioning whether Lawhorn was certified to teach a swiftwater rescue course that several local squads hired him to conduct. 4 Glasgow volunteers were injured in August during a session Lawhorn was teaching. Lawhorn has not been charged in the incident.
Also, the Pentecostal Outreach Church of Buena Vista is reeling since police arrested Pastor Larry Clark, as Sarah Koroshiff reports. Members of the church community refuse to believe the charges.
We don't have no acting preacher, we're just all working together for God, that's all.
61-year-old Pastor Larry Clark was arrested last week on 3 felony charges. He is accused of 2 counts of taking indecent liberties with a child and 1 count of cruelly treating or beating a child.
And the incidents that we were investigating took place in the county of Rockbridge at his home.
The incidents are alleged to have happened over a 3-month period during the summer and fall of 2011. According to court records, the 2 victims are juvenile males.
It's still under investigation.
Clark was arrested November 7th after the sheriff's office searched his home. Deputies seized a computer, 8 VHS tapes, more than 30 CDs, and 5 camcorder tapes. Both Clark's family and his flock are upset by his arrest, but they say it is part of God's plan.
It hurts, but we all believe that God's going to bring him through, and we believe God's got a plan through all of it all.
Clark's cousin, R.D. Clark, did not want to appear on camera, but he said, "As a family member, I can tell you it's been hard." Agnes Ramsey Wills of Buena Vista and other church members said they don't believe the allegations.
I don't believe no bad against my pastor. He's been teaching me the Word of God for 12 years.
I've worked beside him in the ministry for over 10 years. You can really see how God moves through his heart and his life.
I live right up here on the hill. I can see everything that goes on. And Brother Larry would never do nothing like they say. I think it's all lies.
You just have to ask yourself, why would anybody lie to get involved in a firestorm like this?
Clark's bond hearing was Tuesday. He was released from Rockbridge Regional Jail on a $7,500 secure no-contact bond.
No contact with anybody under 18 years of age, even immediate family.
For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Sarah Koroshiff.
Clark's trial is scheduled for 2:30 on December 9th at the Rockbridge Juvenile and Domestic Relations District Courthouse.
When Stillwater Worsted Mills in Goshen shut down more than a decade ago, about 120 workers were left without jobs. But one local businessman's plan could mean new employment in the area. Reporter Neil Haggerty has more.
Will Harris was looking to expand his North Fork Lumber and Log Homes business when he bought the Stillwater property in 2012. Then, county officials got interested.
We were real excited, of course, when Mr. Harris became interested in the property, and he talked to us about how could the county sort of assist with this project.
The county gave Harris money to help renovate the damaged and vandalized textile facility, which he plans to use for his log cabin business. Harris agreed to hire at least 10 new workers within 5 years. But the property also includes about 150 acres of cornfields and trees along the Big Calf Pasture River. Harris hopes to build log cabins with riverfront views there.
It's really a pretty area down through there. The river is absolutely beautiful. We have about 1.5 miles of riverfront on that property, and we want to make it kind of like a park-like setting.
Krickenberger says Harris's plans could mean even more jobs than the 10 he promises.
The facilities that he has to work with, and as repairs are made, and the numbers of activities that he's talking about, I think that number could go up quite a bit.
Harris also wants to create a historic attraction around the remains of the 19th century Victoria Furnace limestone quarry.
The fact that it has a little bit of history with it, with the iron ore business, and the interest that I have in that, kind of makes it a very unique combination.
Harris isn't sure when his full vision will become a reality, but he says the building could be ready for his log cabin business as early as next year. For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Neil Haggerty.
Krickenberger compared Harris's project to the Devil's Backbone Brewing Company expansion. Devil's Backbone agreed to add 5 full-time and 5 part-time workers within 5 years when it received land from the county. The company has hired almost 30 new employees in just a year and a half. The
Devil's Backbone Brewery won multiple awards at the 2013 Great American Beer Festival in Denver. The brewery earned 6 awards, including 2 gold awards, and was named the Small Brewing Company Brewer of the Year at October's festival. This is the 2nd year in a row the brewery received major honors. The company is also building a new production hall, which will help expand the output for the company. Over 300,000 cases of Devil's Backbone beer are expected to be sold by the end of the year. The company is also looking to hire a few more staff by the year's end. Wet weather is the forecast for the weekend.
We'll have your full 5-day forecast coming up next on the Rockbridge Report.
NFC, AFC, offensive linemen, defensive tackles, quarterbacks, and cornerbacks are all living united to ensure the academic success of millions of kids in our communities all the way to graduation day. But that won't happen without you. So take the pledge at unitedway.org. Make a difference in the life of a child. Suit up like your favorite NFL players and become a volunteer reader, tutor, or mentor with United Way.
Did you know kids who play outdoors have healthier lungs?
Totally. Did you know that boys that play with dolls make better husbands? My son has lots of dolls.
But did you know terry cloth diapers breathe better?
I did.
It's totally true.
Oh, yeah.
Did you guys know statistically friendly kids have more friends?
Yeah.
That's obvious.
Did you know most people think they're using the right car seat for their kid, but they're not?
Parents who really know it all know for sure that their child is in the right seat. Visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat to make sure your child is protected.
10, 9, 8.
Kids will spend 15 minutes watching online videos like this one.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes twice a day. They have the time.
Ever wonder what makes us, the Smurfs, so happy? The forest, of course! This is where we, along with the beautiful forest creatures, make our home with beautiful plant life, clean water, and endless adventures. It's a place to celebrate. So discover the forest with your family today. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
When some people struggle with their mortgage payments, they become frozen, petrified. Not knowing what to do, they do nothing. But the people who take action are far more likely to get the most positive outcome. Making home affordable is a free government program. Call now to talk one-on-one with a housing expert about the options that are right for you. Real help, real answers, right now.
Administrators at Washington and Lee University say they find nothing wrong with the way they figure admission statistics. President Ken Ruscio has endorsed a committee report that says the university is in line with national practice. The way the school and some others measure their selectivity was questioned in a story in the Washington Post in September. Ruscio appointed the committee to examine the university's methods. It is a very desperate situation in the Philippines. Nearly a week after Typhoon Haiyan hit, Typhoon Haiyan made landfall on the historic and beautiful town of Guiuan and left it in ruins. While the situation there is bleak, CNN's Ivan Watson found the spirits of the people are high.
This is pretty much what's left of the fishing town of Guiuan, and it's the first community, the first point of land contact that Super Typhoon Haiyan made before dawn on Friday. This community has largely been cut off from the rest of the world for the past 5 to 6 days. The authorities here used to store relief items in that trailer, but as you can see, that's clearly not going to be enough for this devastated community.
Initially, we need food and medicines, temporary shelters for the people.
Because the rainy season's coming.
The rainy seasons are coming, and then we can see children and you know, the babies that needed some shelters.
If you ever needed any proof of the historic power of this storm, it's here in the Church of Immaculate Conception. The clergy here says it was built by the Spanish more than 400 years ago. It had survived literally thousands of typhoons over the centuries, until this one brought down walls and the facade and the roof. As you can see, the communities here are starting to get some kind of assistance, people lining up for aid. The city officials are trying to work here, but there's a long road ahead for this community. Perhaps the best resource that we've seen that these residents, that these communities have, is their sense of humor and resilience, which has been absolutely infectious in the wake of the biggest disaster this town has seen in generations. Ivan Watson, CNN, Guiuan in the Philippines.
You can help by dropping off supplies to Gleaning for the World at the Sam's Club on Wards Road in Lynchburg this week. God's Pit Crew is accepting checks labeled Philippines Disaster at 2499 North Main Street in Danville, Virginia, or online at godspitcrew.org. Or you can also donate to the American Red Cross at 1105 Rose Hill Drive in Charlottesville. In Rockbridge County, there's a bit of wet weather in the future. Kinsey Grant has the full forecast.
That's right, Sarah Jean, we do have some wet weather headed our way, but before we get to that, let's have a look at the current conditions. It's 58 degrees in Rockbridge right now, and we've enjoyed a beautiful fall day with sunny skies, very few clouds, and low humidity, which was a nice break from the cool conditions we felt earlier this week. Let's take a look at the rest of Western Virginia to see if they're experiencing similar conditions. As you can see, just about all of our neighbors are enjoying sunny skies with temperatures in the high 50s or low 60s. Moving on to the local radar, you can see that there's just about nothing headed our way right now, which means we'll have a beautiful, clear evening tonight. Now, unfortunately, this beautiful fall weather is not here to stay. As you can see on the 5-day forecast, although tomorrow will be a beautiful day, the weekend will bring an increasing chance of rain. Saturday, we have about a 20% chance of precipitation, building up till Monday, when we'll have about a 60% chance. Temperatures should not be too cold throughout the weekend, but Monday's rain will bring cool conditions on Tuesday. So remember your umbrella this weekend and your jacket early next week.
Thank you, Sarah Jean. Laura Lindsay, back to you.
Thanks, Kinsey. 2 Virginia cities have looked at plans for massive downtown overhauls this past week. We'll have the details on both and what it could mean for you next on the Rockbridge Report.
So what you want to do is, have you already enrolled?
You're doing fine. What did that just do?
Select the drop-down menu again. Continue to sign. You're already enrolled. Example here, so don't panic. You're ready to make your payment. Submit. There it is.
Oh my God! I really can't believe it.
That's awesome. Good for you.
If you drive buzzed, it could cost you around $10,000. You'll face major legal fees, major fines, and steep insurance penalties. You could lose everything. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Don't look at me. Your hair's a bit frizzy today. Oh, you should pick that up. Oh, you're such a dork. Loser. Here, let me help you with that. Oops.
Every day, kids witness bullying.
Oh, look. Your crush is looking at you. Poor you.
They want to help, but don't know how.
See, no one here's gonna help you, because no one
Teach your
likes
kids how to be more than a bystander. Visit stopbullying.gov. When you throw away money on wasted electricity, you're throwing away everything you could have bought with it. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at energysavers.gov.
2 Virginia cities took steps forward on plans to enhance their downtowns earlier this week. In Richmond, Mayor Dwight Jones announced earlier this week a plan to revitalize Shockoe Bottom. The plan centers around building a new stadium to replace the diamond for the local minor league baseball team, the Flying Squirrels. The plan also includes building a new Kroger grocery store in the area, as well as a hotel and other developments to bolster the city's economy. A slavery and freedom heritage site is also part of the mayor's plan to enhance Richmond while also preserving its history. Lexington City Council members say they accept the latest version of their own downtown enhancement plan, but that isn't the same as endorsing it. Members say accepting the plan allows them to give it a closer look in future work sessions and public hearings. They can decide which parts they like and how to fund them. The city's planning commission did endorse the 26-point proposal before passing it to the council. City officials say the entire project could cost $4 million. The plan can be seen on the city's website, lexingtonva.gov.
Rockbridge Area Health Center received a $775,000 new access point grant last week, a result of the Affordable Care Act. This grant will help RAHC become a federally qualified health center. The grant has allowed the clinic to double its examining rooms. It has also allowed them to hire a paid full-time on-site physician. RAHC Development Director Katie Datt says the center will still rely heavily on community funding and volunteers. Next on the Rockbridge Report, playoffs are looming for local high schools and colleges. We'll have the latest on those sports for you coming up.
All right, give me a spot. You know my motto, safety first.
They could be dangerous. I think we should call animal control.
Animal control?
To be safe.
Don't worry.
Just...
I got this. It's a new motto.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
I think someone at my friend's school has this thing called autism. My friend's brother's son has autism. My neighbor's son has autism. My son has autism.
Autism is getting closer to home. Today, 1 in 88 children is diagnosed with autism. That's a 1,000% increase in the last 40 years. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs.
You know what, guys? There's a lot of tree branches and dry brush over here. We should probably move the bonfire over there.
I'm guessing Smokey liked that idea.
Now the big guy comes up to bat, hitting .342 with 92 RBIs and 36 homers.
Chill raw and prepared foods promptly. 1 in 6 Americans will get sick from food poisoning this year.
10,
Keep your family safe.
11,
Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
The most talked about person on the internet is the Pope. An annual survey ranked Pope Francis as one of the top talkers online around the world. He even beat out the newest heir to the British throne, Prince George. Carl Azus reports.
Most talked about person on the internet. It's a serious title. When you consider what name is invoked the most on blogs, internet news sites, social media.
Kate Middleton and Prince George, maybe Beyonce or Justin Bieber come to mind. But far surpassing all these folks, Pope Francis, the leader of the Catholic Church, the largest denomination of the world's largest religion. The survey came from the Global Language Monitor, a Texas company that tracks what people are talking about on the internet. Other names and phrases that came up included Obamacare, the National Security Agency, and Edward Snowden. But Pope Francis has gotten a lot of attention in all forms of media this year. He's made headlines and blogs and tweets for inspirational acts. He's been criticized for controversial comments on sensitive topics. In Pope Francis, people see someone who's redefined or exemplified or defied what they think a pope should be. And that's prompted them to share their views on the Pope more than anyone else. Carl Azus, CNN.
Around the country, both college and high school teams are preparing for the playoffs. TJ Fisher has the latest on our local squads.
Football season is coming to a close throughout the county for most schools, but Buena Vista's Perry McClure is headed to the playoffs. After having last week off, they have a tough matchup Friday night against 8th-seeded West Point in the first round of the Group A Division I Eastern Section playoffs. Rockbridge County's tough season came to an end Friday. Narrowly avoiding a shutout with a touchdown in the fourth quarter against Northside, they finished the season with a 2-8 record. Washington and Lee lost a tough one last week to rival Hampton-Sydney to drop their record to 5-4. That loss mathematically eliminated them from contention to defend their ODAC title from last season. The two teams at the top of the table, Hampton-Sydney and Randolph-Macon, play this Saturday for the title. The W&L Generals travel to play the 3-6 Hornets of Shenandoah. VMI played their final Big South Conference game last week, picking up a win against Gardner-Webb before jumping to the Southern Conference next season. This week, they traveled to the Citadel in South Carolina for a rematch of the finals of this past weekend's All-Military Classic basketball final in Lexington. VMI won that matchup to take the All-Military title. Southern Virginia clinched their first shutout in school history last week and takes on Southwestern for their final game of the season. And finally, congratulations to Washington and Lee's women's volleyball team on clinching back-to-back ODAC titles with their victory Saturday afternoon. They'll continue their season tomorrow in the first round of the NCAA playoffs. Hopefully we'll have more football to come as the teams make their playoff runs. Back to you all.
Thanks, TJ. Green living and sustainability are gaining importance for more and more people who see themselves as stewards, not landowners. In Rockbridge County, North Mountain Community and Common Ground are agrarian community land trusts. Janie Fugate has the story.
The legacy of the hippie generation lives on in Rockbridge County. North Mountain Community was founded in 1972. The 5 current members live on 130 acres. Ben Brown left his middle-class lifestyle to live there and is dedicated to maintaining the community's original purpose, living simply and sustainably.
It means being ecological, it means living on less money and less resources, and voluntary poverty is a phrase that used to be said a lot.
Albert Stevens, a professional astrologer, moved to North Mountain a few years ago.
So I was always the nature boy of Los Angeles. And, you know, growing up on the streets was not my experience. My experience was growing up in nature. And so I was always attracted to that, and that sort of drew me into the hippie kind of attitudes of back to the land and wanting to be more natural.
North Mountain community members grow up to half of their own food. They also want to grow their ranks with younger members.
What we're looking for is young people that want some of that, that want to have a place to start, to get back to the land.
In these communities, the members do not share income, but they do share land and labor.
And that's what it's about. That it's not about the money, and it's not about the pride of ownership, and it's not about possession, and it's not about working for a job and building up a big nest egg. It's about doing it and taking care of yourself.
Washington and Lee professor Leah Green lives at Common Ground with 5 other households. It's what Green calls an intentional community. She says the hardest part can be surrendering independent decision-making.
It can be hard enough finding one person who you're willing to spend your life with to more or less marry, and it can be sometimes feel like a decision to have that kind of commitment to more than one person can sometimes seem crazy.
But advocates say this style of living allows people to combat the environmental problems that face modern society.
There is something I can do about it. I can really understand what I'm using because I grow it.
This close connection to the land gives people like Green and Brown lasting fulfillment.
We're very happy there, and we love our roots there, and they feel very deep.
When I'm gone, you know, this is not going to be part of my estate. This is not what I am here is what I did here.
This is Janie Fugate for the Rockbridge Report.
Great story about the work they're doing. Sustainability is huge in this community.
It definitely is. I feel like I live a pretty green life. What about you, Laura Lindsay?
I try to. I definitely do.
But definitely not the way they do. That has like a lot of commitment behind it.
And how about the Pope being ahead of Justin Bieber on Twitter? That's shocking.
Oh goodness. That's like a 1 for the Pope, 0 for Justin Bieber.
Thanks for staying with us, Rockbridge. Y'all have a good night.